It looks like you're league starting a ranger and want to get some maps as quickly as possible. If that's the case, then you've come to the right place. When waking up on the shore and killing our first zombie, we will get Burning Arrow. Halfway down the beach, we pick up Momentum from the chest. Momentum isn't amazing, but when we are standing still, we get that little bit extra attack speed, so it's better than nothing. Once we get to Act 1, go straight to Tarkleigh and talk to him. We're going to pick up Caustic Arrow for the quest reward for killing Hillock, and we're going to replace Burning Arrow with it, making Caustic Arrow and Momentum our first 2 link. Don't forget to check Tarkleigh's shop for runner's boots or green items. If you have the choice for few of these, which is unlikely but possible, try to avoid getting a chest, a weapon or boots with your 3 greens. We don't want to wear a chest too early, in fact I normally don't equip one until Act 4. And the boots and the weapon we're going to swap out quite often, so we don't want to have to keep trying to juggle our gems. That said, if there's no other option, then get any of those 3. Once you finish with Tarkleigh, head out right to the coast. We're going to run left to right until we reach the waypoint. Then head into the mudflats. This is probably the hardest area in the whole of Act 1. Rowers are really nasty and we have to loot 3 of their nests, which will make them incredibly grumpy. Once you have looted the 3 nests, run to the right hand wall and go up and try and find the exit. Once you find the quest marker, hit the wall and that will open the exit into the submerged passage. Go straight in. Go straight to the waypoint in here and take the waypoint back to the coast. We're now going to run down to the Tidal Islands. Once in the Tidal Islands, we're going to run down the left hand side. This is normally the quickest way. Once we get to the bottom of the map, we'll see this shipwreck. Here we'll find Hellrake. He tries to track you with his cold spell. To confuse him, move left and right and stop every so often at random. This will hopefully confuse the AI and make you much safer. Once you've finished with him, grab the medicine quest and the portal scroll, and then log out. Logging back in now into town, pick up the Shrapnel Ballista and Dash as quest rewards from Tarkleigh. Grab the Quicksilver and Volley as quest rewards from Nessa, and then if you can afford it, buy a Mirage Archer. Our first 3 link is going to be Caustic Arrow, Volley and Mirage Archer. Dash and Shrapnel Ballista will go solo for now. We can drop Momentum. Once you're done, take the waypoint back to the submerged passage. Dash through, remembering to use your Quicksilver Flask for the odd speed boost. Once you find something that looks like a cross between a flight of stairs and a bridge, drop a portal and head across. Unless of course you found the exit to the flooded depths on the way and drop one there instead. Once you find the exit to the ledge, head out. Run through the ledge, ignoring the boss in the middle, and exit to the climb. Find the waypoint to the right and slightly up. If there is a large open space below the waypoint, head down, else up. Find the cliff with the big green skeleton standing guard and head up past it. Keep running till you reach the lower prison. Once in the lower prison, we're going to take the waypoint back to town and go through your portal into the submerged passage. Head down to the cave into the flooded depths. In the unlikely event it's not down, head up. Find the Dweller of the Deep on the large island with bubbling water around it. Once the crab is ready for a fine seafood dinner, pick up any magic or rare loot, log out back to town and get the skill book from Tarkleigh. Sell your loot as a mix of identified and unidentified items to get the nice mix of currency shards that we need. And then head over to Nessa and get lesser multiple projectiles. This is a quest reward. Link this to your Shrapnel Ballista for now. Next, buy the Steelskin Guard skill. Also be on the lookout for a movement speed shield with green links. We will need this later, as at the end of the act we will be making some big changes to both our gear and gems. Take the waypoint back to the lower prison, head into the upper prison and finally the Warden's Chamber. If you can use the guard skill now, then equip it, and put it on your left mouse button so it triggers as we run around. Follow the small puddles of blood on the floor to Brutus, and help him sleep. He is very grumpy. Once you've put him down, log out to town. Head to Tarkleigh and grab Precision for the quest reward. Head over to Nessa and buy Vitality. These are auras that will reserve mana in exchange for giving you accuracy, and life regen. Equip them and activate as soon as you can. Take the waypoint to Prisoner's Gate, find the edge of the area with a cliff and head down and traverse until you find an offshoot. Follow it all the way to the exit into the ship graveyard. Once in here, grab the waypoint and search for the overturned boat with a cave beneath it. This will tend to be left and upwards from the waypoint. If you find the entrance to the Cavern of Wrath first, go in and grab the waypoint and return to the ship graveyard to continue the search. Once you find the cave, head in and find the quest marker. If you've already found the Cavern of Wrath, then you can log. Else, we're going to head out the exit at the back of the cave and search for the Cavern of Wrath. Once that's done, you've either taken a waypoint or logged out, you should be back in town. Pick up Poisonous Concoction from Nessa as a quest reward. If you are level 12 or above, it is time for the first big gem change. We're going to drop Caustic Arrow, Shrapnel Ballista and Mirage Archer. We're also going to sell our bow and quiver and buy a shield if we haven't found one yet. Poisonous Concoction does not work with weapons, and so if it suddenly stops working, you probably picked one up. You can disable auto-equip in the settings to prevent this. I'm just too lazy, and it's almost got me killed repeatedly. Our main 3-link will now be Poisonous Concoction, Volley and lesser multiple projectiles. Now, as I mentioned, Poisonous Concoction does not work with weapons, so how do we scale the damage? Well, it scales as it levels just like a spell would, even though it's an attack, but also your life flask will scale it as well, depending on how much life regen it has. So you want to keep your flasks more up to date than you usually would. Also note that to get this damage bonus, Poisonous Concoction absorbs some of your life flask charges. So you do want a nice way of recovering them. We're going to get some of this on the tree early on. Head back to the ship graveyard and seek and destroy Fairgraves, the ghostly pirate. Once he's metaphorically walked the plank, head back to town and grab the skill point book from Bestel. If you don't have at least 2 large life flasks, try and buy some from Nessa. As I mentioned, this scales Poisonous Concoction. Head back to the Cavern of Wrath, head through the 2 caverns until you come face to face with the end of Act boss, Merveil. Vanquish her once, and then again once she sort of phases. This is a hard fight where she deals mostly cold damage. Once she's down, head out the door at the back of the room and head up the wall into the Act 2 town. At this point, you should be somewhere around level 11 to 14. In the new town, sell any excess loot to Groost before heading out of the right of the town to the old fields. Once in here, follow the path to the exit into the crossroads. If you are already lucky enough to have 2 Quicksilver flasks, then you can ignore putting a portal here, either near the den entrance, or if you haven't found it, the exit. We're now going to head out into the crossroads and follow the path to the waypoint. If you don't have 2 Quicksilver flasks, take the waypoint back to town, then take the portal to the den and slay the big white bear at the end. Log back to town and get a Quicksilver flask from Helena. Take the waypoint back to the crossroads, head up the path into the Chamber of Sins. Find the centre of the maze and exit the door closest to the waypoint. Continue on a straight path until you reach the exit to the Chamber of Sins level 2. Whilst in here, find a room with a thin corridor protruding from it and follow it to Fidelitas. These do heavy lightning damage, and if they're causing you a problem, start to circle around them as you attack. Once you've dispatched them, head over to the crafting bench to release the Baleful Gem. Pick it up and log back to town. We're now going to talk to Groost, and he's going to give us Herald of Agony for the quest reward. Head over to Yena and buy Poacher's Mark. I don't have enough sockets to run this yet, but that will be my next priority as this mark greatly improves our safety and solves mana issues. Now head out of town to the left to the riverways and follow the path to the left, picking up the waypoint as you pass it. Eventually you'll reach the Western Forest. Run down the path, collecting the waypoint as you pass it and noting the side of the road it's on. Keep following the path down until you reach the guard outpost and defeat Captain Arteri. He will drop a thematic emblem. Grab this, place it into the thematic seal. Bestel in Act 1 will have a skill book waiting for you for doing this. Once done, head back up the map on the opposite side of the road to the waypoint. Do beware the purple humanoids in this area, they explode on touching you, and if there's enough of them you will die. Find the entrance to the Weaver's Chamber and enter. Search the chamber until we find the Weaver's Nest. For those of you with severe arachnophobia, I'm very sorry. We're about to face and kill a giant spider. Once its legs curl up, grab Malagaro's spike. Log back to town and take the waypoint to the crossroads. Take the path to the right, head into the broken bridge, follow the path all the way to the end. Select Kill Kraton. Once he's fallen, take his amulet and log. Once you're back in, take the waypoint back to Act 1, grabbing the skill book from Bestel. Back to Act 2 now and pick up Vicious Projectiles from Silk. Link this to Herald of Agony, this will increase your crawler's damage. Take the waypoint back to the riverways and follow the broken path just off the waypoint into the wetlands. In the centre you should find Oak's Fort. End him and take his amulet. Head to the top left of the arena, grab the waypoint and open the doorway. Take the waypoint back to the Western Forest and walk towards the wall on the same side of the road as the waypoint. Head down and help Alira for the resists and regen. Don't worry, you can remove this later. From here there's only one way to go, through the doorway you opened into the wetlands, so log out and head there now. Eventually, after going through several areas, you'll reach the end of Act Boss. He's at the top of a pyramid. He has quite a bit of a tank and has some dangerous attacks. The most dangerous being the falling rocks and the big slam. Try and avoid these because they can kill you. If you manage to get Poacher's Mark socketed somewhere by now, the fight will be a lot easier. Unfortunately I didn't on this occasion. Once the Vaal Oversoul finally stops attacking you, we're going to log out, log back in, and then take the waypoint to Act 3. This is actually quicker than opening the door. I know, it's mad. As Act 3 is a total abomination of an act, and we only have one skill change in the whole of this area, I'm not going to spend an awful lot of time on going through the area in detail. If you're struggling to work out what to do, I do have an Act 3 guide which has got you covered. Check out the description where you'll find that, along with a POB link and a web equivalent with a written version of this guide. But don't check that out right now because I've got some important information about the changes we're going to make in this act, both to the tree and to the one skill change. And while I do that, you're going to see how this build fares in the Dominus fight, which is actually really pretty well. And for the Dominus fight, by the way, you will want Poacher's Mark. I managed to get this into my build early on in Act 3. Also in this act, preferably before the Dominus fight, we'll be picking up Precise Technique from the tree. This gives us a whopping 40% more attack damage, but requires our accuracy rating to be above our maximum life. This is a bit annoying to balance, but well worth the effort. You can keep an eye on your accuracy rating in the character menu. You can access this by pressing the C key on your keyboard. We do have one skill addition in this act, as I mentioned, and that is going to be Plague Bearer. You buy this from Clarissa. Plague Bearer is a skill that we activate, and once we do, it lowers the poison damage we deal. But it actually stores that damage up in like a bank that we can then use as an aura. When we toggle the skill on again, an aura will spread around us, dealing heavy chaos damage. This is dependent on the amount of poison we stored up while fighting. The skill has a maximum bank for each level it has. The higher the level, the more poison you'll be able to store. Once the storage is full, it will no longer take damage from your poison. This skill can be toggled on and off to save that bank running out, so if you kill your enemy, switch it off. Once Dominus and his demon form fall, head out and run through the aqueduct until you reach the town of Highgate in Act 4. If you are lucky enough to get a 4 link before or during this act, go back to Act 1 and pick up Chance to Poison, making the 4 link Poisonous Concoction, Volley, Lesser Multiple Projectiles, and Chance to Poison. All the footage in this guide was filmed with only a 3 link. Now that we're in Act 4, we're going to immediately head left, into the Dried Lake, and we're going to find and kill Vaal. He'll be either towards the bottom of the arena or up to the left. Pick up Destret's banner and use this on the mine gate back in town to open it. Head through the mines all the way to the waypoint in the Crystal Veins. Make sure to free Destret in the mines level 2 because Tasuni will reward us with a skill book when we do this. It's now time to gather up any trials of Ascendancy that we didn't get while making it this far, so that you can run the lab. If you struggle finding any of the lab trials, or with the lab itself, check out my guide, which will be top left at the end of this video. There's 2 things left to cover. 1. The best first Ascendancies to pick up if you want to run fast through the rest of the acts. And 2. What to do with Poisonous Concoction if you want to take it all the way to endgame before switching out to your final skill of choice. But before we get on to that, I have a favour to ask. If you found this video useful, then please let me know in the comments that you found it useful. I do try to reply to every comment. If your bow skill of choice isn't good until we get to maps, then you can use Poisonous Concoction on a 4 link all the way to maps. And the good news is, the only gem changes we need to make, we can make at the end of Act 4, and one of them comes as a quest reward. So as soon as you get to level 38, you can go over to the quest giver and she will give you either Greater Multiple Projectiles or Greater Volley. We want both of these, so get one as a quest reward, buy one from the vendor, and then replace Lesser Multiple Projectiles and Volley. This will make our 4 link Poisonous Concoction, Chance to Poison, Greater Volley, and Greater Multiple Projectiles. Okay, the Labyrinth and first Ascendancies. Once you've defeated Azaro for the 3rd and final time, head into the treasure room. At the back of the room you'll find the Ascension Altar. This is where you choose one of 3 Ascendancies. The first Ascendancy we're going to talk about is the Raider, and the best way to move fast is by picking up Rapid Assault. This gives you Always Up Onslaught, which gives you 20% increased movement speed. If after this you pick up Avatar of the Chase, this will double Onslaught's effect to 40% movement speed, which is absolutely massive. It's better than a pair of boots. The next Ascendancy we talk about is the Deadeye. There is only one choice to move really fast for the Deadeye, and that is Gathering Winds. This gives us 1 Gale Force each time we use a skill, and each Gale Force stack increases Tailwind's power by 15%, and Tailwind gives us 8% increased action speed. As we can get up to 10 stacks of Gale Force, this means that Tailwind's power is increased by 150%. The last Ascendancy we're going to talk about is the Pathfinder. This is the only Ranger Ascendancy that doesn't come with a speed boost. For this one, if you're playing a poison build, I strongly suggest going Master Toxicist first, as this will help you do more damage and therefore move faster through the acts. This will also work really well with Poisonous Concoction. Another potential option to move fast is Nature's Adrenaline. This gives us 3 flash charges every 3 seconds, so that's 1 flash charge a second effectively. This means that our Quicksilver flasks will be up far more often than they would have been otherwise, thus allowing us to run faster. Also note that this has the side effect of making our leveling feel super safe because our life flasks are up much more often as well. And with that, thank you for watching and I'll catch you next time.